Hello, my dear folks. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on East West Show with G&E TV. Getting excited already because we are almost there in November to face Election Day. Election Day is the time. It's only time. It's the moment. Every now and then, or twice a year. Every 2 years, you exercise your right of democracy. Please do come out and vote. Who you pick is your cup of tea, but to exercise your right of democracy is really the call of this show to go ahead. So, joining me today is my good friend and also a huge supporter, big leader of California, Mr. Curt Hagman, still Assemblyman Curt Hagman of 55th District of California. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack.
All right. Mr. Curt Hagman is terming out this year. He's been there for 3 terms. For the past 6 years, he's done a great job, a tremendous job. He moved around lots of bills, and especially his expertise in going across the lines has been recognized so greatly. Being a Republican leader on the floor, he did find friends and common grounds with the people on the left. So that's a huge success too. Now, he's running for the seat of San Bernardino County Supervisor. It's a big county. It's one of the very big county of California, right? So
yeah, it's the largest county in the United States.
All right, good. So to Mr. Curt Hagman, to our future county supervisor of San Bernardino, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack.
All right, good. So what is the campaign status now?
Well, we're coming up just for a couple more days left. So now we call it GOTV. And when I first got
what is the GOTV?
Yeah, get out the vote.
Get out to vote.
Get out the vote. And what that means is we go try.
We call ourselves the GE TV.
Yeah. So we have GoTV, get out the vote.
Sure.
And it's basically we're still doing a little bit of mail. We're doing a lot of phone calls, reminding people Tuesday's the vote day. This is a new season too, so you can vote early. You can vote today. You can vote last week. Permanent absentees can just mail it in. Poll voters can walk into the usually a local place inside the city and actually vote and get it done. So we're trying to get our base out to vote, and to so we're very busy on that. We have lots of volunteers, lots of people going out, including myself, knocking on doors in the district trying to get people out.
Yeah, last Saturday I recall that you had 6 events back to back, right?
I think Saturday, yeah. And sometimes there's 6. I've had as many as 9 or 10.
Sure.
And then also walking in between. So it's also for me to get out there and see as many people as I can.
Lots of people say that this election is going to be a lower turnout.
Correct.
Do you think so?
Yeah, absolutely. The statewide polls I'm looking at right now, remember I'm still in the leadership of the elections for the entire state.
All right.
For congressional, senate, and assembly seats.
Sure.
Has been, we call it a plus or minus. So what we do, we do modeling about how many people show up for each election. And it's different for a general election now than it was for the June primary.
I see.
A lot less people come out in the June primary versus a general election. And we look at the last maybe 10 cycles and try to come up with an average. So let's say there's 100 registered voters, 30 Democrat, 25 Republicans, 10 independent. That would be the average of 100 voters. And then the way we gauge it to see what the intensity level, what the average number of people are coming out. And what we're seeing so far this year is a much higher intensity level for Republicans. They're above what their normally average is by, in my district, about 5 or 6 points.
I see.
Statewide, I think it's about the same. And the Democrat turnout is less than what we predicted. So we put those together, and it's like an 8 or 10 point swing to what we normally would see in this election cycle. So, still a lot of time left. A lot of people can still vote, but we're seeing that it could be a what we call a wave year, where from the top ticket on down, because people are not happy with Obama. We've talked about the president for 6 years together and some of his policies.
Take me myself, for example.
Yeah.
I was very much a proactive and supporter, a huge supporter, but right now during the time over 6 years, I kind of like losing my confidence on lots of major issues. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So local races are very important because we do the day-to-day operations for people's lives. But a lot of people don't get motivated by local races. They look at the president, they look at the governor race, those type of things. And the governor's race is, pretty much a one-sided race this year. And the presidential is not really drawing a lot because there's no presidential on the ballot, but also the president's not popular right now. I think we're up to 54% disapproval of his policies and close to, unheard of record high of the wrong direction for the country, about 68%. And so that really depresses a lot of the vote. But you just keep working the election till the end of the day and see who shows up to vote. And yes, it may be a less because people are not happy with government.
After all, to take overall look at the democracy, at the democracy though, it is not healthy for a state to tilt to one side, one way or the other for too long. Number one.
Correct.
Number two, compared to presidential election though, your local election is even more important. Tends to be more important rather than less important because it relates to yourself.
Correct.
Your own tax dollars, right?
Yeah, your day-to-day life.
Your day-to-day life, right? So if I were supposed to choose, or I may call upon my audience to exercise your right of democracy, you would do more on the local issues rather than presidential
and it's
issues.
hard. I get a lot of calls to my office. You look at those judge candidates. No one knows a judge because you're not dealing with the courts, and you may not know half the people on the ballot or what their offices do.
Yeah.
It's always funny. We talked about this before too. I started in politics. My family was pretty young. My son was 2 or 3 years old. My daughter wasn't born yet, and they grew up with me being on city council, and their friends knew what I was when I was mayor. They recognized what a mayor was. You move to the state assembly. And a lot of people don't know what the state assembly is. A very powerful job. We make all the laws for the state. But try to check out the title county supervisor. Nobody knows what a county supervisor does. But it's actually one of the more powerful and important positions for an area because we have a very huge budget. The county of San Bernardino is larger geographically than 4 or 5 other states. Okay, you can put 4 or 5 other states inside, and population-wise, it's more population than many states. So it's a very large area, and there's 5 people there. So 1 out of 5 votes makes a big difference there.
Yeah, especially in terms of when it turns out to vote for somebody or somebody's that you know already, you always have a judgment of your own, right? Speaking of that part, though, I would rather prefer voting for people that has some records to trace, rather than a newbie who has nothing. Of course, you do not know whether he's bad or right, or right or wrong, good or bad, but still, you would rather see somebody who has done something, right? In your case, for the past 6 years, at this show, we do encourage our audience to check voting records of their elected officials. Okay. Checking about your voting record, though, can you share some about yours as a summary for the past 6 years, please, at the Assembly House?
I'm proud of my last 6 years of service. I've been long in leadership of either party since Willie Brown for the last 20 plus years. And I had to keep that leadership position by working across the aisle. And I like to think I'm pragmatic. I'm a business guy that happens to be politician on the side, so to speak. I'm not a career politician. I've written payroll checks in my life, all my life, and I my companies. And so I get it what it takes to compete. And so I always try to look at bills very pragmatically. How does it affect the end user? And sometimes I support them, sometimes I vote no. And I think I do something that's kind of unique. If I think I know the direction you're going, but it's a wrong way, even if it's not my bill, like a Democrat author, I'll sit down and say, hey, change it this way. I know where you want to go, but this is the wrong way. And we can actually amend the law and change it. And I was very successful doing that with a lot of bills as well.
Of course. When we want to check your voting record, and also we check about your credentials of all the 6 years that you have done so far, there are several jobs because you're wearing many hats, such as the chairman of the Republican Party, the floor chairman of the Republican Party, and also as the insurance committee, right? Yeah. So, and how about each on these 2 jobs that you have done that you feel proud of?
Yeah, I'm the Republican floor leader, which means I do the political and operational side for the assembly. I was the vice chair of insurance on the Rules Committee, the Business Professions Committee, several committees I was on and leadership on. and then locally the San Bernardino County Party Chair as well. And so again, I'm trying to lead by example. There's a lot of hats, like you said. I also sit on the state allocation board. So I invested all the state bond dollars into new schools. So if you got a new school in the area, that was the one of, and I'm one of 3 legislators on that board as well. So a lot of different hats, but it keeps me out of trouble if I stay busy, right?
Okay, all right. So today joining me is my good friend, supporter of the community, a big leader of California, Mr. Curt Hagman, Assemblyman Curt Hagman, still at this moment, of the 55th District. So stay with us. We're talking about his campaign for county supervisor for San Bernardino. So we'll be back. We'll find more. Stay with us.